President Cyril Ramaphosa has delivered a strong and heartfelt message to you, the people of South Africa, following the country's successful hosting of the G20 summit. He began by saying that the G20 does not belong only to world leaders, but also to millions of ordinary people who are affected by the discussions and decisions taken there. He shared how international delegates were struck not just by the formal meetings, but by the warmth and humanity they felt from South Africans. A German delegate said they had attended summits on 6 continents, but had never experienced warmth like they did in South Africa. A Japanese delegate praised the way even security guards and drivers behaved, staying vigilant and professional, but still smiling, sharing stories, and making guests feel welcome. From protocol officers to coffee vendors, visitors said they were treated not as distant dignitaries, but as part of a family. Speaking about South Africa's Ubuntu philosophy, one trade representative said that in many countries hospitality feels like a transaction, but in South Africa it feels like a tradition. A French delegate remarked that they came to discuss economic frameworks, but what they would remember most was how the South African people made them feel. They said, "That is not soft power, that is real power." One observer, Dr. Erbel, concluded that during this summit the world's most powerful people were not talking about South Africa's GDP or credit rating, but about its people, and that, he said, is a currency no economy can print. President Ramaphosa also highlighted praise from global leaders and institutions online. India's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, thanked the people and the government of South Africa for organizing the summit. The managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, applauded South Africa's incredible hospitality. Germany's Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, thanked South Africa for its ambitious presidency in turbulent times and stressed the importance of firmly integrating Africa into global decision-making. The United Nations Development Programme South Africa representative said the country had shown the world what African leadership looks like: dignified, strategic, and people-centered. A young global leader from Kenya wrote that no matter the language, Ubuntu is understood, and that South Africa brought that spirit to the G20. The president then turned directly to you, the viewers and citizens. He thanked South Africans for showing up for their country, for standing by it, and for remaining proudly South African despite many difficulties. Over the past year, the country hosted tens of thousands of delegates in more than 130 meetings across cities and towns from Cape to George, Cape Town to eThekwini, Hotspur to Polokwane, as well as meetings elsewhere in Africa and beyond. Ramaphosa acknowledged that the influx of visitors caused disruptions, road closures, and inconveniences to daily life. He thanked you for your patience and apologized for any difficulties. He expressed gratitude to everyone who welcomed visitors through airports, hotels, conference centers, restaurants, and tourist sites, and to security services who ensured that all G20 events took place without incident. He also thanked businesses, academics, parliamentarians, judges, community leaders, and the media for their roles throughout the year. The president pointed out how host cities, especially Johannesburg, demonstrated what is possible when there is a focused effort to repair roads, fix streetlights, clean streets, and maintain infrastructure. He said this work should not stop with the G20, but continue and expand to neglected areas, calling this a moment to improve service delivery. Beyond hospitality, Ramaphosa emphasized that South Africa used its G20 presidency to put Africa's growth and development at the center of the global agenda. At a time of wars, rising inequality, and climate change, he said it is essential to work together to attract investment, promote inclusive growth, and create jobs. He noted early signs of economic recovery, including a recent sovereign credit rating upgrade, and cited a leading business figure who said that after a decade of decline, South Africa has turned the corner and its economic trajectory is improving. He also spoke about confronting social challenges such as crime and gender-based violence. Just over a week ago, gender-based violence and homicide were classified as a national disaster, giving the country more tools to intensify efforts to end this scourge. The president stressed that while some seek to create division and polarization, South Africa used its G20 role to foster cooperation and goodwill, and to prove that shared goals are stronger than differences. The leaders' declaration, he said, reinforces the G20's importance as the main forum for international economic cooperation and underlines its relevance in a rapidly changing world. Ramaphosa reminded viewers that the G20 represents about 85% of global GDP and more than 75% of world trade, and now includes the African Union as a permanent member. He highlighted agreements on easing unsustainable debt, increasing funding to help vulnerable countries cope with climate disasters, supporting a just energy transition, and ensuring that countries like South Africa benefit more from the processing of their own critical minerals. He also referred to South Africa's leadership on global inequality, including a new report led by economist Joseph Stiglitz and a proposal for an international panel on inequality, similar to the climate change panel that informs global policy. Towards the end of his address, the president acknowledged tensions with the United States over false claims of genocide and land confiscation. He called these allegations blatant misinformation, but stressed that South Africa remains a firm friend of the American people and values the long history of solidarity between the two nations. He said South Africa will continue to engage the United States with respect and dignity as an equal sovereign country. Ramaphosa warned that disinformation campaigns are harming South Africa's interests and jobs, and insisted that South African problems must be solved by South Africans. He spoke of a new national dialogue, open to all communities and all viewpoints, including those who criticize the country from abroad, inviting them to bring their concerns into the democratic process. He ended with a reminder of who South Africans are: a people who live together, work together, learn together, laugh together, mourn together, and celebrate together. In good times and bad, he said, South Africans have stood together and must continue to do so to build a peaceful, prosperous, and great nation. His final message to you was simple: thank you for making the G20 a success. You made the country proud, and South Africa is at its strongest when its people stand together.